Sensational win for Manchester United. 3 goals at Old Trafford. A brace from Marcus Rashford. Jadon Sancho with an inspired second half performance. Bruno Fernandes at his creative best out on that right-hand side today. And Man United put themselves in a position to enter this title race. Many think it's on. We're going to delve into that in more detail on the show today. But Rashford on fire. Man United closed the gap on Man City after they dropped points. They keep a little bit of pressure on Arsenal as well. And listen, it was a game of two halves. It was a game of two halves, and Leicester was sensational in the first half. You had the midfield of Sabitzer and Fred, and even to a degree, Weghorst pushing too close to their man-to-man marking in the middle. Big spaces in behind. This was leading to the likes of Lisandro Martinez stepping out from the back. The ball was then getting played over the top, and there was huge space in the wide areas, especially for Tete on that right-hand side. And Leicester were all over Man United. That cannot be denied. That cannot be debated. That cannot be debunked in any way, shape, or any form. They were all over Man United, and David De Gea deserves a huge amount of credit today. I would actually give him the man of the match over Rashford, over Sancho, over Bruno, over Sebi, because of those saves that kept Man United in this game. They were imperative. But then one mistake at the back. Faze steps out. Rashford beats the offside trap. A wonderful outside of the ball ball pass by Bruno Fernandes. One of the best passes you'll see this season. And Rashford, true to his form, buries it and gives United an undeserved lead in the first half. But as we say in the second half of the season, performances are important, but winning is what matters, especially when you're fighting on 1, 2, 3, 4 fronts as Man United are. The second half began, and what was really, really important about the second half was the changes that Erik ten Hag made. Do not get twisted about these changes. The first one was putting Sancho in the number 10 role. Myself, I've been begging to see Sancho in the number 10 position for about 12 months now. It's an absolute necessity, to see that at Manchester United. He was brilliant. This allowed Rashford to dominate that right-hand side. Bruno was already doing a good job on the right. Rashford, on the left-hand side was able to come alive. But what he then spoke to his midfielder about, he said, Fred, Sabitzer, stop pushing so close man-to-man. Let them have a bit more of the ball in their own half. Drop a bit deeper, close the space for Maddison, and watch them make mistakes. And from the beginning of the second half, they were losing the ball. They were losing the ball through unforced errors because, hang on a minute, there's not the space to pass into. And Man United capitalized. Those changes from Erik ten Hag were absolutely immense. They were absolutely brilliant. And it was the foundation for Man United to grow from. Now, the second goal, there's controversy around it. Was it on or was it off? Well, the lines were drawn, and as you can see there, marginal, but it was onside. And this is why VAR was brought in. I've been hugely critical of VAR in recent weeks, not drawing lines, not showing us lines, making incorrect decisions. We saw 2 last week, Arsenal versus Brentford and Brighton versus Crystal Palace, that resulted in referees losing their jobs. But this is what it was brought in for, to get the decisions as close to 100% accurate as possible. Marcus Rashford, onside, second goal of the game for him, putting United not quite out of sight at this point, but into a very, very, very commanding position indeed. And from then, Leicester capitulated. There was no fight from Leicester after that point, really. United had the best of them, and then Sancho was balling out. Bruno was balling out. And the third goal, to quote the greatest boxing trainer of all time, Mickey from Rocky, that was a rare thing of beauty. And it was a rare thing of beauty. The one-touch football, the slide passing, beautiful. And for Sancho to finish it off, his second goal since returning, for him to ball out in that 10 role, I think is a sign of things to come in the future. I want to see more of Sancho in that middle area. And listen, a lot of people say Bruno isn't at his best on the right-hand side, and I don't think that he is. But I believe if you have a Sancho in that number 10 position and a really marauding, quick fullback like the low over the top, Bruno can come alive out there. He drifts to the right-hand side typically in games anyway. You've just got to utilize who runs into what positions. And it's horses for courses, because I still think Weghorst will play a role at 10 until Eriksen returns. I do think he'll play a role there. But I think Sancho today, maybe we've seen the beginning of his best position at Manchester United. And then when it was 3-0, it should have been 4. Like Weghorst, I don't know what this guy's got to do to score a goal. But I'm not going to cry about it. I'm not going to get angry about it. We won the game today. It's an area for us to improve on. But I think what really stood out to me today, and I'm about to tweet this. I'm going to put this out live while you guys are on the air. And this is I'm going to read out exactly what I'm tweeting. Manchester United. I should write the word had now because I wrote this during the game. Manchester United had Casemiro, Eriksen, Anthony, Martial, and Varane missing from the starting 11 today. And a lot of people will laugh at Anthony maybe being included or Martial, but if they were all fully fit, they start in this system. And our most dominant games are when those individuals are all playing. 5 players missing from our standard starting 11, but there was no moaning. There's no crying. There's no boo-hooing. Just winning. I love this positive attitude from the club, manager, players, and fans. Some clubs out there have one player injured and they want to cry. They want to moan. They want to write off their games. They want to write off their seasons. We saw a few years ago, the best team in the country, Man City, have one centre-back out injured and go, no, that's it, not winning the league now. That victim mentality never yields results. Never yields results. You persevere. And that's what Man United are doing. You've got young Garnacho had a bad game today. But he'll be great in the next one. You've got young Manu coming off the bench. That's who we're relying on now. We've got kids coming into games. This is what I've said all week about Arsenal. Their fans, some of their fans, a small percentage, I'm glad for them, the positive ones, that this didn't get into the Arsenal dressing room of, that's okay, few injuries, let's throw the season. Nonsense. United have got through 3 games in the Prem without Casemiro and walked away with 7 points. Should have really got all 9, if we're being absolutely honest. And we have put ourselves now into the edges of a title race. Some of you may think Man United are in a title race. I've got a poll running right now live on the air where 52% of you say yes, United are in the title race. 21% say no, and 26% have said it's just changed from 20. 26%, sorry, are saying maybe let's wait a few games. I spelled games wrong, by the way, but I always spell a mistake. I'm dyslexic. And I think for me, I am in that mindset of it's almost on this title race. Talk to me after the Liverpool game. That for me is key. Speak to me after the Liverpool game. And the reason that I say that is because Liverpool are finding a little bit of form. It's a very tough place for Man United to go. And there's favourable fixtures for City and Arsenal up until that point as well. But if we look at the Premier League, we literally play Liverpool next. If we beat Liverpool, followed up by Southampton at home, those 2 games, if we win them both, and there's a drop point or 2 above us, United are in this title race. We're right upon the edge of it. We are right upon the edge of being in it, in my opinion. The fact we've got through the last 2 games, where in the first halves, we were outplaying, overrunning that midfield. The fact that we've got through those games with 4, 5, 6 first-team players missing should fill United fans with an air of confidence. The only challenge is going to be, we've got the Carabao Cup final. I feel quite confident we'll beat Barcelona midweek. And then you're still in 3 competitions. Arsenal, they've got no FA Cup. Man City have got 3 competitions still, so they're going to have multiple games to play. Man United have. Can we maneuver through all of them? Maybe, maybe not. I think maybe if we win our next 2 Prem games and maybe Arsenal lose one, maybe City lose one, you might find the manager starts to prioritize the league run, as it were, as opposed to the Carabao Cup. But not Carabao Cup, the Europa League. But I think Man United are right upon the edge of being in this title race. And I want to be fair. You know, we're kind of going through these gateway moments. Today was another big test for us. Leicester looked really good. We persevered. We got through it. De Gea did his job, and we came out on top. You look at the league table there that's on the screen, and I think to myself, 49 points. Excellent place to be in. 3 behind Man City, by the way. 3 behind City, 5 behind Arsenal. And sort of, you know, if Arsenal would have dropped those points yesterday, they had 2 points less because they were drawing 2-2. They'd be on 52 as well, would be 3 points off the top. But it's narrow, and United just need to keep winning. My dad always said this to me. I weren't a good sprinter when I was younger. I was quick, but I'm not going to lie to you. I grew up in the East End of London. I weren't the quickest around, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't. I was quick, but not the quickest. You know, I was probably in like the top 10 fastest people in my year, which is pretty good, right? But I couldn't make the athletics team. I was all right though at long distance. My dad used to say to me, don't worry if you're not the best. Just try and stay on the shoulder of the person leading, and then at the end, go for it.